Protect yourself at all times. Follow my instructions. We're going to have a clean fight. Touch gloves and let's do this.
Just saw there Tyron's mother, Deborah Woodley. I had the chance to spend some time in Ferguson right before this training camp. This is a close-knit family, and they are out to support the UFC welterweight champion tonight in defense of his title against the submission magician, Demian Maia. Tonight's fight clock, is brought to you by HSS, the world leader in orthopedics.
This is such a fascinating matchup to me. I'm so curious to see how this plays out.
I have a feeling Maia's going to put Tyrone on the cage.
Wow, look at that, right away. Right away shoots.
Woodley has a habit of using the fence as a gauge for when people come in on him.
Look at this.
Woodley's been taken down one time in 11 UFC fights. So far, so good.
And Damian's already cut.
His eye, there's something going on with his left eye.
I don't know what happened to his eye. I don't know if he got caught with an uppercut on the way in or what, but it is bad.
Can a squeeze do that type of damage? I mean,
I think it was a strike. We'll have to take a look at the replay to see if we can find what happened, but his left eye is almost closed.
Pretty sure Woodley hit him with an uppercut on the way into that shot. Now what I'm seeing is that Damian's going to pull him to the half guard sweep here, just yank him on top of him. Right now, Woodley knows exactly what's going on. See how he's controlling the hand of Damian?
Yeah.
As long as he controls that hand, Damian can't lock his hands and finish the takedown. That's why you see the hand control. Hand control is key. Grips are everything in jiu-jitsu and also wrestling. Hand control is everything here.
And great patience by Tyrone Woodley as well. 2 takedowns avoided.
so a decidedly different challenge for the champion here tonight compared to his previous defenses against Stephen Wonderboy Thompson.
And now he waits, Tyrone waits for Demian to get himself tired, missing shots, not finishing shots, and then he starts picking him apart with power as Demian comes to him. Looking for uppercuts, knees, and overhands is what you're going to see from Woodley.
Woodley traditionally a fast starter, staying patient though here in the early going. About 2 minutes gone by in round 1. Another shot from Maia here. Woodley too strong so far.
Something happened here.
Oh, fence grab.
Get in the fence with him. Grab the fence again. I'll be taking a point.
It's so hard to not cut the fence when you're losing your balance. It's near impossibility. But you better be careful. Good left hand landed by Maia.
Maia again grabbing the leg and Woodley avoids it.
And this is exhausting, going for takedowns and not completing them. So Woodley's counting on this. Woodley's counting on Maia to get tired doing this well. Woodley's kind of waiting. Maia will come to him and he'll keep firing overhands and uppercuts.
Maia is throwing that left hand to try to keep Woodley honest as he tries to close the distance.
You see Maia unofficially 0 for 7 on his takedown attempts thus far. Maia has taken down his last 12 UFC opponents.
I'd like to see Maia use that left high kick. I mean, it's a huge weapon to shut down Tyrone's right hand. If you start throwing it, he's got to defend the left high kick of Maia, and then he can't use the uppercut and the overhand right the way he's using it to counter Maia on his takedown. You're just waiting. It's like having a knife on your hand. You're waiting for the guy to come in, and you're just going to fire as hard as you can when he shoots the shot, because Maia's shooting empty shots. He's not really setting them up.
Tyrone Woodley, 2-time Division I All-American wrestler, Big 12 champion, over 100 college wins at Missouri. But he has been a knockout artist in the UFC. 5 of his 7 UFC wins have come by knockout or TKO. Nice job by Maia to get the guard up there.
Maia's smart to sit back for a second, get his energy back before he starts in for another takedown. He's fighting a one-dimensional fight, so he has to be careful when he decides to use his energy in Maia.
It was more than 7 years ago when Demian Maia fought Anderson Silva for the UFC middleweight title. April 2010, that fight went the full 25 minutes. And this was a short camp for Demian Maia. He had to be smart and efficient about his training. A lot of it was focused on cardio and getting in shape. But at this point, Maia does what he does.
Another shot in there by Maia. Beautiful stuff by the champ.
Less than a minute here to go round 1.
Part of the problem is Maia's shooting now and he's not driving his leg. You see him stop on his knees there, Joe?
Yeah.
You can't finish a shot if you stop on your knees. It's wrestling 101. Keep your head up, you drive straight through the shot. Never stop running. from the fence now. You see how he's kind of coming closer to the center of the octagon? Because Maia has his best success on the fence. Keeping him in the open mat forces Maia to use strategic, technical wrestling for the takedowns instead of jiu-jitsu by yanking him on top on the fence. The fence gives Maia his best hope. Woodley's keeping away from there for the most part.
Woodley's showing him the punches and feigning the kicks.
Now he's baiting him. He's looking for that uppercut right now. See how he's tipping his right shoulder?
They're going to have to get that in swell on that eye quickly.
It's an easy read to land an uppercut when you know a guy's going to shoot on you.
And that was what was landed, and we'll get a chance to take a look at that in the replay. But as Demian shot,
Atenção, Demian, presta atenção.
Pay attention.
Ele tá querendo jogar up, ele não tem
He's trying to catch you in the
E quando
upper
ele
when
vai
you come in.
explodir, ele faz 1, 2 pra
When he
explodir.
explodes,
O
he
direto
does
funciona
1,
quando é
2
surpresa. Não
explodes.
pode ficar
You have
repetindo,
to
senão
try
vai
to
bater
take him
junto.
straight.
Presta atenção,
Pay
entrou,
attention.
roda logo
Come
pro
in.
single, libera pelo dedão quando ele ficar
Go
dominando a
to
tua
the
mão
single
e
and
concentra
try
em
to go
enquadrar
to
o quadril dele um pouco mais pra você se ajeitar.
Try to get
Tá?
his hip a
Ele
little
chegou
bit
a
more
sentir um
control.
direto, ó, a cabeça tem que
He
ser
also
firme.
felt a little bit
Cada
your
round,
straight.
cada
You have to stay
round,
firm
ele vai
in
conseguir
your
ser melhor
attention.
pra não
He's gonna
água
get
na mão,
tired each
velho.
time.
Cabeça, filho, tem que mexer a
Come on, you
cabeça.
gotta move your head.
let's go!
It's fight.
Just goes to show you the power of this Tyrone Woodley to not even land flush necessarily and nearly close Demian Maia's eye.
Yeah, literally the first punch he threw.
Well, the first punch you throw has the most power on it, and you're the most connected to throwing it and knowing you're going to land it. And that's what we saw. Good. To throw the punches and then one powerful one at the end, smart by Woodley.
And Woodley's keeping his center of gravity low, dipping his weight down, driving forward with these shots. Nice inside leg kick there by Woodley.
I like Woodley controlling the center of the octagon now. I think it's a smart tactic. Kind of keeps Maia thinking. He can't drive him to the fence the way he needs.
Straight left hand by Maia. Oh,
Knocked down for Woodley, and you can be sure he will welcome Maia back to his feet. Been there, done that.
Right hand landed so hard.
Tyrone's talking to him. He's talking to him.
If you break it down, Maia has one way to win. He's got to get the takedown. Woodley knows that, so he's counting on his wrestling to back him up, and then his power to defend that.
Demian Maia's throwing bombs now himself.
Woodley looking to set up that uppercut, instead goes to a right hand that landed partially. Well, Woodley was backing up towards the fence in round one. Forward motion, 90 seconds into round two.
That eye looks horrible now.
Yeah, to what extent, Joe, is his vision compromised at this point?
Really good question. And it's also a real good question as to whether or not he's got a shattered orbital. So how much can he absorb? Well, usually when an eye swells up that quickly, there's probably some damage. Who knows how bad to the orbital?
Woodley's so smart. Now look how he runs like this. I mean, he just gets out of there. He doesn't even let Maia have a tiny opportunity to grab a hold of him. And this wears down Maia.
Crowd appreciating Tyrone Woodley's takedown defense. He has stuffed all 10 of Maia's shots as we go under 3 minutes now in round two.
These are the tactics and the smarts I'm talking about Woodley. I mean, it's not like Woodley doesn't say, oh, I can wrestle with them, I can grapple with them, I'm the brown belt. He just stays away from it completely and keeps Maia uncomfortable until the inevitable happens.
Yeah, he's just trying to win. He's not trying to show off. He's not trying to do anything to prove a point. He's being smart, and he's winning this fight so far.
I feel like that's the next level of mixed martial arts now. I mean, it used to just be guts and glory, and that was it. Now these guys are thinking. These guys are using strategies. It's awesome to see.
Hey, fight fans, check out the UFC store on your mobile device. Get your favorite fighter gear and more. Shop now and receive 15% off during tonight's fight. Use code UFC214 and start saving today.
Tyrone just shucked him off there. And over again, he's been denied with these takedown attempts. And as Tyrone gets slipperier and slipperier as he sweats, it's going to be harder and harder for Demian to take him down.
Maia has gone 5 rounds several times in the UFC against Ryan LaFlair, Jake Shields. Of course, Anderson Silva in that middleweight title fight 7 years ago. Woodley trying to work his way into striking range.
He's just faking and making some reads. He's looking for just the one big knockout punch right now, Woodley, but he's also trying to not overcommit, lose his balance, and give Maia a chance to shoot on him. See how he goes to the body? When you rip the body like that on Maia, it takes away any chance of Maia shooting underneath his punches.
And as we've seen with Demian Maia, as he lands the left hand there, all it can take sometimes is one takedown, fight's over. Past wins like against Carlos Condit, got to be careful if you're Woodley.
And he's swinging. I mean, he's swinging with that right hand, and he has thrown several good straight lefts. So Tyrone has to be aware of those as well.
I mean, if I'm Maia, I don't know why I'm not using a left high kick, being you don't care if Woodley takes you down. I mean, I think that'd be a huge weapon for him, but we're not just seeing it. We're just not seeing it out of Maia right now.
Total strikes, Woodley tripling up on Maia. Limited action, though, on both sides. Under 30 seconds now to go in the round.
Have you ever seen Maia throw a high kick?
Well, I mean, we've seen him try, but I mean, at this point,
I don't recall. I mean, I know he's kicked, but I don't recall him ever throwing a high kick.
well, you know he can do it. I've seen it on pads. It's just a question of he doesn't care if he's taken down, so why not throw it?
No, it's a very good point. I'm just trying to think if I've ever seen it.
Yeah, I get your point too. I'm just what's really happening now. I mean, it's worth a try. Is my point.
All right, 10 minutes in the books. We will go right into the blue corner of the challenger, Demian Maia, as Mike Afanasiev continues to work on that cut.
Respira.
Okay, breathe.
Tira o bocal pra respirar.
Okay, take your mouthpiece out. Breathe.
A água vai estar na tua mão.
Make sure water's in your hand. You have to get near him.
You're taking away his ground game, and you showed him he can't hit you with nothing when you don't want to. So now it's time to make him pay.
Doing really good. Once in a while, off the jab, go 1, up 2, uppercut 2, or 1, 2, 1, and angle out and look for the right, okay?
That covers some distance. He's putting that double jab in the combination.
He's one or two hard punches and falling over, Tyrone.
Hey, Tyrone, stay alert now because he's going to be desperate.
Yeah, he's going to be desperate, so stay alert. All right, so we're going to keep battering him up. Keep pulling off his layers.
Brittany Palmer getting us going for this middle round of a possible 5 for the UFC welterweight championship. Woodley's kept quite the schedule over the last 364 days. This is 4th fight in that time as the doctor takes a look at the eye of Demian Maia. Doc says he's fine and starting to maybe look a little bit better than it did towards the tail end of that second round.
So they've done a good job of the end swell, which will push some of the swelling away from the eye, and he hasn't really been tagged cleanly again on that eye. But if he does, he could shut up totally.
Maia's corner said that he's got to get closer before he shoots, but they didn't really give him any tools to get closer. So that's kind of the problem. He hasn't really had an answer for the distance yet of Woodley.
Partially for Tyrone Woodley there.
Good job blocking that one by Demian.
Short uppercut to the body lands for Woodley, who has stuffed all 12 takedowns from Demian Maia thus far.
Demian is a huge 172. That's one thing to consider. When you're talking about a guy who fought at 185 pounds, cut weight to get there. Seen him in a real grueling fight at 170 go fight.
Went the distance in a 3-rounder with Gunnar Nelson.
And that was a fight where he totally dominated.
Yep. Split decision win over Jorge Masvidal his last time out. A fight in which he was challenged more than any other during this welterweight run.
I like how Woodley's trying to set up his right-hand power. Instead of just throwing a jab overhand right, he throws a 1-2-1 to get Demian Maia to parry his hands, and then he comes over the top of the 1-2-1 with a power overhand right. Get your hands away from your face to defend the 1-2-1, and then he comes and slips right over the top of it with an overhand. That's what you see Woodley trying to set up right now.
And Tyrone has only thrown a couple leg kicks, and his leg kicks are particularly powerful. Look at the size of the legs that guy's running around with.
You're right, just 3 leg kicks out of Tyrone Woodley thus far. Less than 3 minutes now to go here, round 3.
I mean, his legs are cartoon big.
That's like a baseball pitcher. Woodley splits the guard of Maia there with the right hand. But largely Woodley is out as quick as he's in because of the threat of the Maia takedown.
This is what I was talking about. Maia, I mean, you have to respect his takedown ability and his grappling, so you can't just throw with reckless abandonment. And these seem to be the matchups that Woodley gets. He's got Wonder Boy and he's got Maia. I mean, you can't just throw on these guys because you want to see him hit them. You got to be careful. You got to choose your strikes.
I like how he did that. Showed the hands and landed that inside leg kick.
And if you think a few boo birds are going to affect Tyrone Woodley, you haven't met the man. He's trying to leave here as the UFC welterweight champion. And sometimes, Dom, as we've talked about in the elite levels, you can get a little bit of a staring contest at times.
Yeah, you can't make this exciting and just try to please the fans and keep your title.
It's hard to please the fans.
Yeah,
in general.
To ask DC about that. They're still booing.
Now some swelling in and around the other eye of Demian Maia.
Demian looking to land a heavy shot, and that could be one of the ways that he could set up a takedown. If he can get some success with a stand-up and land a good shot on Tyrone coming in like that. Good sprawl.
Look at him push the head down.
I mean, this is also what I said. It's a bad takedown attempt by Maia. He didn't drive his feet. He got planted right at the touch and just face planted into the mat. I mean, that's wrestling 101. Yeah, you got to drive through your shots. That's why you see Maia get so many takedowns on the fence, because with the fence behind, you don't need to drive. You can pull back. In the open mat, that's not an option.
And you see Maia's right knee all chewed up, courtesy of those 13 failed takedown attempts. Less than a minute here to go, round 3.
Here's one of the rare kicks we've seen Maia throw. But I agree with you, Dom. He should throw a lot of them. He should be kicking those legs. He should be kicking the body. He's not worried about being taken down, that's for sure. He would love it. If Tyrone took him down and wound up on top, he would love it.
30 seconds! 30 seconds!
Yeah, I mean, when you got that level of jiu-jitsu, if you're asking me, throw anything in the world that you want to, and don't stop throwing it because you have nothing to risk.
He landed another good inside leg kick there. Perhaps we're seeing a pattern here. There's quite a bit of blood on the bridge of his nose, and his left eye looks terrible.
But don't forget what the power of Woodley feels like. I mean, these guys get hit and you start seeing his opponents, Woodley's opponents, slow down. The power is serious, and it is something they're aware of.
And here we see Tyrone Woodley land a glancing right hand. There's a nice one right there, and that's the one that dropped him. And here he threw this flurry of punches, capped by that right
We want to
hand.
make him pay just a little bit more, okay?
Hot shot of that
Keep
one
picking him
there.
apart and really weaken him up, all right? So just keep touching him, all right? Just keep touching him. Just inch your way forward. Just creep forward and just keep touching him. He can't take you down. He's already given up on that. He's going to shoot just so you don't hit him. So just keep touching him. He shoots, just sprawl, get back up, punch on the break. Yeah.
Wipe down some of the sweat. Wipe down the sweat. Remember what's been working for you. Wipe down. Keep on. Let's go. Bring it on. Good job. Stay on top of it. All right?
Well, that's how you maximize those 60 seconds. Nice 1-2 punch there, Joe, with Dean Thomas and Duke Rufus.
Yeah, two outstanding coaches.
Yeah, Dean Thomas was on the money saying he's giving up on the takedown. He's just shooting and not take damage at this point. I mean, I couldn't have read that any better.
All right, championship rounds here. Tyrone Woodley in the black and gold, befitting a champion. Demian Maia, the challenger in white. And we'll see if there's a little bit of an uptick in the aggression here from T. Wood in this 4th round.
Or from Maia.
That too.
I mean, Maia's got to be in a position where he realizes both of his eyes are closing. He hasn't done anything significant. We're in the 4th round. Does he just keep going like this and lose a decision? Or does he try to make something happen and risk getting knocked out?
It's always worth the risk of getting knocked out. Just go. It's better better than anything else. Just go. Just be a goer.
Be a goer.
Especially because after you get you don't remember it anyway.
Shot again, easily stuffed.
And when you saw these guys face to face at the weigh-in yesterday, you couldn't help but notice Maia's size advantage, but Woodley's strength has certainly been a factor here tonight. Maia 0 for 14 on the takedown.
Well, that size advantage is really just height.
Yeah.
When you come to this physical bulk, look at the size of Woodley. And the strength and power of Woodley, along with his technique, are a huge factor.
Well, Demian Maia trying to get after it here, working on a single leg with Woodley up against the fence.
And this is technical wrestling by Woodley. He's going to cut the corner and it takes the pressure off the single leg. I mean, that's just what...
He just bounces out of the way brilliantly.
The whole camp for Woodley was defending takedowns. That's what he had to do. Just have somebody shoot on him nonstop, and that was it. And so he's well prepared for this matchup. Maia, if he's going to have success, he's just... I know he wants to be a jiu-jitsu and a grappling practitioner, but you've got to throw more strikes to set that up a little bit.
Do you think that ship has sailed? That ship of just being a jiu-jitsu guy who uses takedowns?
I think that ship has sailed if you have nothing except a left hand to set it up. You have to have more weapons to set it up. That's it. It's not that it doesn't work. He is effective with it. He can use it against probably the top 10 in the division, but not the top 3. It comes to a halt there at the top 3. Those are the best of the best, and it's back and forth between those guys, and you've got to have more weapons to set up a one-dimensional approach.
Well, in that fight at UFC 211, Maia Masvidal very close. It could easily be game bred in there tonight as Woodley slips that leg out yet again.
So easy.
And another thing is in wrestling, I mean, you got shoes on, so that doesn't, you can't do that. You can't just slip your leg out.
Right.
In an MMA fight, you can do that 100% of the time, which is technically not supposed to be good technique in a wrestling match, but here, you can use it every time.
All right, less than 2 minutes now to go in this 4th round. Demian Maia has spent 3.5 years working for this title shot, so let's see the extent to which he gets after it here late in this fight.
Tyrone landed another right hand there. Inside leg kick by Demian. Now here's the question. Demian is obviously trying to press the action, and Tyrone isn't landing much. How is this being scored?
Your guess is as good as mine.
It gets weird, right? I mean, clearly when it comes to damage, Tyrone has been able to bust up Demian's face. But with how many shots? And are the judges taking that into consideration? Are they thinking about the fact that Maia is pushing the pace? Because we're not seeing a lot of offense from Tyrone. We're seeing some effective offense.
Well, if you think about it, the Wonder Boy Woodley fight was similar.
Yeah.
Woodley won by doing more damage, just like this.
But Woodley stunned him and hurt him badly. There's not been that yet.
Well, he did dropped
him once. Yeah, they tagged him there. But when he hurt Wonder Boy, he had Wonder Boy on the way out. And Wonder Boy managed to survive. In the round that he knocked him down and hurt him, clearly he probably won that round. And he's probably won quite a few rounds. But who knows how judges are looking at this?
Well, and only if a judge can't determine a round winner based upon effective striking and grappling do they go to the other conditions like aggression or octagon control. At least in this round, Maia has certainly been aggressive at times.
He just isn't landing enough.
All right, final seconds here of this 4th round. Minutes down, 5 to go to determine the UFC welterweight champion. A look back now at round 4.
And we can see here that Maia tries a takedown, but you see him fall on his butt. You got to drive through your takedowns. And right here, you see he's got the single leg, but Woodley grabs the fence. He should have a point taken here, according to Herb, but he's able to cut the corner because of that, grab the butt, turn the corner here, relieves the pressure of the single leg from Maia, and that stopped the takedown right there. And then he slides the leg right out off another single leg attempt of Maia. And that's why you gotta have a single leg and be able to transition to the upper torso of the body or transition to a double leg. But Woodley knows these things, controls the opposite hand and keeps you from transitioning.
You gotta can't give up, man. Come on, let's go.
Acredita, bicho. A mão de trás alta.
All right, 5th and final round, so it all comes down to this for Demian Maia. He will be 40 in November. It took him 7 years to get back to a UFC championship fight, granted down a division. Let's see if he can make the most of these final 5 minutes. And for the UFC welterweight champion, Tyrone Woodley, perhaps still work to be done to make sure he leaves with his hand raised tonight.
Dom, are you frustrated by the advice that Demian is getting in his corner?
No, I'm looking frustrated by the fact that Maia's not throwing more strikes for himself. He got in deep on a double there. We saw him quit driving forward, and that allowed Woodley to be able to escape it.
Outstanding takedown defense for Tyrone Woodley on display yet again. 0 for 17.
Just perfect takedown defense.
Perfect takedown defense, and Maia's open mat shots need more drive to him.
Decent shot from Maia there, nothing doing. Maia suffered, Dom, a similar left eye injury in that fight against Anderson Silva. Still hard to know the extent to which it's hampering him tonight.
Even in the takedowns that Maia's finished in his past, he pulls you back. He doesn't drive forward. And that is the takedown essential in the open mat, is the driving force and the head, cutting the corner. He's not doing that. He's stopping on his knees, which is what they teach you to never do on a takedown. You can't stop on your knees. You get stopped every time by the man who's on his feet.
So unofficially, 20 takedowns attempted by Demian Maia thus far. He has yet to land one.
And not even coming close.
Well, now you're seeing Woodley hitting the down block, which is meaning the arm goes down like a gate to the floor before Maia can even get to the leg, and that's because Woodley's gotten a read on the type of shots that Maia's making. Before it was just the strong hips of Woodley. Now he's hitting his down blocks, which is the arms before the hips.
So mixed martial arts, a constant balance of risk and reward, I guess. But if you're Tyrone Woodley, do you sit on the lead a little bit here? Do you force the issue? What do you do?
Demian tagged him with a left hand there.
And that's what keeps him. That's what keeps Woodley real. You know, you get tagged every once in a while. You go, okay, but I need to wait a minute.
Well, we are on pace to shatter the record.
There, now you know what it looks like.
We're going to shatter the record for fewest total strikes landed in a welterweight title fight.
Oh, no. That's not a record we want to break.
No, we don't.
Again. I mean, not much time. Halfway mark of the final round.
I got to tell you, those burns on Maia's knees are going to hurt in the shower.
Look at all the cell phones in the audience. What are these people doing? It's kind of freaking me out.
I don't know what that means, but...
I don't know what it means either, but how'd they all sync up like that?
Just over 2 minutes here to go in this 5th and final round. See if Maia tries to shoot again. You wonder how much is left in his gas tank here. We mentioned this was a relatively quick turnaround for him.
Good straight left there by Maia.
Yep. So unofficially, Woodley has landed 42 significant strikes, 19 for Maia. Nice straight right.
Yeah. The chant of boring. The last thing a fighter ever wants to hear. But he shucks off another takedown attempt by Maia.
Of course, coming up next, the rematch between Daniel Cormier and John Jones, our UFC light heavyweight championship main event.
Woodley staying composed, hearing everything, knowing everything that's going on in the crowd, knowing everything that's going on in the fight, staying composed, sticking to the game plan, not getting overzealous.
We're at the final minute.
It only takes one mistake when you're fighting Maia. One. And Maia knows it.
Yeah, but not a lot of time.
Agreed.
50 seconds to go. It's just getting him down is going to be hard, and then submitting him with that little amount of time, good luck.
Now Woodley could sprint, is what you're saying, right, Joe?
Yeah, I would say, I mean, if Woodley really wants to make an impression, he has been able to dominate these exchanges, stuff every takedown. He's clearly faster, clearly hits harder.
So a new career high, 23 takedown attempts for Demian Maia. And here we are, final seconds of this fight. He has yet to get Woodley down. That was his path to victory. Nothing doing against the former Big 12 champion and UFC welterweight king, Tyrone Woodley. Nice head movement there. So Tyrone Woodley and Demian Maia go the distance. Woodley looking to make it 3 straight successful title defenses at 170 pounds. This fight replay is brought to you by Budweiser. This Bud's for you.
There's a right hand over the top by Tyrone. There's a beautiful right hand that dropped Demian Maia. There's another one. And so many failed takedowns by Demian Maia. Over and over and over again, Tyrone was able to stuff the takedowns, avoid the clinch, and most likely retain his title.
Well, as Dominic said, his training camp was largely rooted in stopping shots from Demian Maia, and Maia was certainly persistent early, tried to get Woodley down to no avail, and all indications are Tyrone Woodley has done enough on the strength of his striking tonight, Dominic, to retain his UFC welterweight championship in terms of the significant strikes. 45-23 for Woodley.
Yeah, I mean, definitely Woodley landed the more strikes. You could see it in Maia's face and Woodley's face. It says it all for itself. I mean, Woodley fought a great fight, composed fight. I know it probably wasn't the most action-packed for the crowd as you hear the boos, but he got the job done with an extremely effective specialist in Demian Maia. I mean, tough fight for both these guys.
And there's Ben Askren, who would seem to deserve a lot of credit for what Woodley was able to accomplish here tonight. The official decision is brought to you by Metro PCS, who brings you closer than ever to the UFC on a fast nationwide 4G LTE network. Here's Bruce Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 5 rounds, we go to the judges' scorecards for decision. The judges scored this contest 50-45, 49-46, and 49-46 for the winner by unanimous decision, and still the undisputed UFC welterweight champion,